There's 3 things right now that are happening right now that are illegal in Australia. I had no idea what to expect. You don't have to pay tax, and he says, no.
Conrad is an Australian digital nomad who got fed up with the obligations and the amount of taxes he had to pay to Australia.
You know, it's clear what you can and can't do, but I don't like unnecessary rules.
So he Googled that and lost no time in relocating his tax residency to Paraguay.
It's like 3,000 people. Do you think Australia is a good place to start a business nowadays?
Alrighty.
All right. Guys, we're here with Conrad from Australia. He's been here for just a few days, and we're just gonna chat a little bit about his experience, what he thinks about Paraguay, and just the process in general. By the way, Conrad, what do you do for a living?
I own a marketing agency. I sort of worked in a marketing agency for 2 or 3 years, and then split off and did my own thing about 6 months ago. And then it's grown really quickly, just because, we brought the team over, and the team that I have has a lot of experience, so we grew really quickly. But yeah, marketing agency.
Nice. Where is it based right now?
The LLC is in America, so it's based in the US, but the staff are all over the world. We have people in Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, the US, everywhere, almost every continent.
Sounds like a lot of time zones. Do you sleep?
Yeah, sometimes. I sort of embrace the entrepreneurial thing of you're just sort of always on. like you wake up in the morning and it's like, all right, you can basically work at any minute of the day. There's no set times.
How long would you reckon you work per day?
Fully focused, focus, maybe 4 hours, I would say. But I have what I call deep work and then light work.
Okay.
Light work, oh man, a lot. 8 hours on top of the 4 hours. So it's just what I mean by light work is sit there and just replying to messages. A lot of my work is just replying to messages,
coordinating
crazy.
Everyone.
Yeah, and so I might not work for 30 minutes, 45 minutes or something, but then sit down and spend an hour just replying and clearing my phone, clearing my inbox, and then chill for another 15, 20 minutes. Absolutely no structure.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How is your marketing agency called?
What's the goal?
How's it called?
It's called Aura Modeling.
Amazing. What's your website?
The website is auramodeling.com.
Amazing.
Go check it out.
Are you focusing on something in particular, like Google Ads or stuff, or are you just generically all doing everything for the client?
We do a full customer service for the client, a full service thing. And that's sort of it. So
social media, SEO, everything?
Yeah, that sort of thing, yeah.
Amazing. Wow, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you found it?
I did, yeah.
Any partners?
Co-founded it, yeah. There's 3 of us that own it.
Amazing.
Yeah, and
What's your role
cool.
there? Just coordinating the team, or you still do something operative?
My role, because the company is only 6 months old at the time of this recording, my role is whatever's broken. Just fix whatever's broken sort of thing. I'm also the client-facing person, so we've got 18 clients or so, and so I'm sort of the client-facing operations. We need to build out the finance department, so we build that. I'm sort of helping with that quite a lot, and then we have to build out acquisitions, just sort of probably like yourself in the first chapter of this.
Manu is exactly doing that still of today. She doesn't have a proper role. She just fixes whatever has to be fixed.
That's right, yeah.
Anything that pops up, whether we have to pay somebody or we have to go somewhere that is out of the general schedule, she would be there fixing that.
Yeah.
And is that fast company growth the reason why you decided to take action for, I don't know, residency, taxes and so on?
Yeah, well, the last couple of years, since I started making money online, I haven't spent much time in Australia, which is where I'm from. And so I didn't even know that you could not pay tax. You know what I mean? I was pretty uneducated on this. And so I just, a couple of years ago, started making enough money that I could just travel abroad full time. And so I did so. And then I was in Bali about 8 or 9 months ago, and there was an Australian guy, and he's like, "Oh, you still pay tax?" And I was like, "What? That's you don't have to pay tax?" And he says, No, I just haven't been there for a long time, and so I just literally just don't pay tax. But he hasn't got it set up fully legit. He's just not there, so he just says, "I'm not there," and he doesn't pay. There's a way to do that apparently. But I think I talked to you about this when we first met.
Yeah.
But Australia can come and say,
Of
we don't
course.
care, you have to pay, right?
Yeah, that's the criteria of presumed residency. So if you don't plant another flag and you can show that you have the center of vital interest somewhere else, then Australia is just going to be like, well, since you didn't move your residency anywhere else, then you're still my tax
That's
resident.
right, exactly.
And another problem is banking, because banks always need to have your domicile of residency. That's why they ask you for the utility bills.
That's
and stuff
true,
like
yeah.
that.
I spoke to my friend about it the other day, and he said he's probably interested in coming to Paraguay as well at some point. But he said that as well. He's like, it's good for now, but if he wants to take a loan or if he wants to do any sort of banking, he can't. Basically,
Yeah,
he's sort of stuck, which is
like unless you live like fully on crypto, you get paid in crypto, you just spend crypto, you do everything in crypto, so you then actually have never to touch any bank.
Yeah.
In that case, kind of you can probably make it work, but I mean,
is that possible? Do people full crypto life?
For a couple of years, I think we have clients that have managed to do that for say 2 or 3 years, and
right.
then they were like, "No, I have to buy a car or a house or something,
right.
and I actually need fiat."
That's crazy.
And especially if at some point you have to convert, like if you have stockpiled a lot of crypto, at some point you're gonna be like, well, now I could be doing everything, but I can't because I can't actually. Not everyone accepts fiat. Like still, if you want to fly somewhere, I think there's no airline still to this day that
Not everyone accepts crypto. Yeah, it's true. I was just thinking, like, how do you buy coffee?
You literally
like,
find someone that would trade your crypto for
for
cash.
yeah.
And you live
that's
off of
true.
that.
Yeah.
So-
Yesterday we were sitting at a lunch, and you were like talking about some services where they're like, oh, you can take $100,000 and put it in cash. I was like, $100,000 in cash? Like, I wouldn't want $100,000 in cash. Like, imagine, especially in a country where $100,000 US is like however tens of millions or hundreds of millions of pesos or whatever. You just have this huge bunch of cash in your house. Like, it'd be stressful.
So amazing.
But,
And
that's
how did you
interesting.
end up finding Paraguay? So if the initial friend didn't tell you about Paraguay, what made you discover that it was a thing?
ChatGPT. ChatGPT is my consultant and my psychologist, my best friend, everything. And no, I just typed in my situation, like being Australian, the company that I run, I just typed in everything. And it said Dubai or Paraguay are your best bets. And last year I was in Dubai and I liked it. It was great to visit, but it's not a place that I desire to go back to. Maybe to visit in the future for sure, but like it's not something that I would like to frequent. And then I started going down the rabbit hole of Paraguay as a place. And I speak Spanish. I've been speaking Spanish for 5 years, and I just really like Latin culture. So I don't mind being in this part of the world. Like, I really quite like it, to be honest. Like, last year I spent 6 months in Colombia and Argentina.
Nice.
And yeah, and so Paraguay seemed more interesting. And then honestly, I just went on YouTube and typed in Paraguay visa or tax or something, and then you popped up.
Okay.
How funny. Now I'm in a video with you. Is this going to go on YouTube?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, how crazy is the world?
So you closed the circle.
Full circle. Like, that's nuts. And then that's great. And that's like within 4 months or something. That's wild. So I watched the video,
Incredible.
and then you popped up, and then I was like, oh, looks like a high energy kind of guy that's explaining it. To be really frankly honest, I watched absolutely nothing else. I just watched 2 videos, booked a call, got on a
Amazing.
call, and went.
And
with
look
it.
at yourself now.
Yeah, like I didn't check other businesses or anything. But just to be really clear, I'm happy with that. Very, very happy.
Okay.
I don't even know if there's other businesses that help with this and do it cheaper or anything. I don't know, but I'm really happy.
Yeah,
with
be
Paraguay
careful what you
Pathways.
watch next then.
I'm not going to watch anything. Stay ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. So,
Amazing.
so,
And
yeah.
did you also inquire about the residency in Dubai? Did you get a bit of consulting on that?
No,
route or
not at all, to be honest,
Okay.
because I have some friends that have that set up and they have to go 1 day every 6 months. Some of them have to go 3 months a year and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And I was like, 1 day every 6 months is one too many days. I just don't want to go. Like, and that part of the world, it's kind of like as well. If I'm from Australia, right? And so I know I'm always going to go back to Australia for a little bit every now and then,
Yeah.
right? To see family. And so then being in Australia, like everything is far,
Yeah.
right? And so if I'm going to go to this place that I have to go to for tax, then I want to kind of stay around there, you
Yeah,
know?
sure.
And Dubai is cool, but I have interest in Europe, but not a huge amount. I
Okay.
have interest in the Middle East, but not a huge amount. But Paraguay, I have a huge amount of interest in Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, the United States,
Sure.
Argentina, all this stuff.
How did Paraguay strike you compared to other places that you've been to as a digital nomad? Just other than the residency, like just the lifestyle you were able to implement here. I know it's just a few days, but like first impressions maybe?
So yeah, it's only been a few days. I arrived last Thursday. It's now Wednesday, right? And so, or Thursday. What day is it? Thursday?
It's
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Been a week, ish. And so Yeah, it's cool. Like it's really, really cool. It's modern, more modern than I expected, to be honest, which is good. But also you can see that it's got a lot of room for growth. Like it's modern, but also old in a way, in a weird way. Like the mall is super modern, but there's some of the streets are super old school. And so, yeah, it's kind of, it's interesting and cool. One thing that I would love, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I love riding like a motorbike or driving. I just love vehicles. And yesterday you were at lunch, you were saying like, this is not the place to drive because it's really kind of crazy.
Yeah,
so.
and the city is pretty sick. But actually, I met this girl from Argentina that traveled from the south of Argentina, so from Patagonia, all the way north to Alaska. So she crossed the whole Americas.
That's a huge trip.
With her dog.
Yeah. Wow.
On a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying a car. I was like, that's impressive in a car. Oh,
actually, she then met a friend of mine who has a kind of Amazon for pets here.
Yeah.
And he started sponsoring a trip.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you love riding motorcycles especially, and you want to go motocrossing here, that's actually awesome.
Okay,
and
cool.
if you go outside of Asunción, you can ride like to the infinity. And that's actually, I was having this chat with Pavel from Czech Republic on Monday. He's been here 3 months and he literally just spent 3 months on the road. He visited the whole country, going around everywhere. And actually, like, he loves riding a motorcycle here, but don't ask me. Right?
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
and maybe not just in the like city, but like going out.
As you go out,
beautiful,
it's just like free roads where there's nobody and you can just...
Yeah. And I haven't been sort of outside of the city. Is Paraguay really beautiful in terms of the nature?
I think the nature isn't particularly beautiful.
Yep.
There's maybe Foz de Iguazú, which is worth visiting, which is actually in the Brazilian side, but just across the border for the waterfalls. There's not so much nature that is actually appealing, but I think what is most appealing is the fact that if you like riding, you'll have a bit of everything. Perfect streets, cobblestone streets, dirt streets. You're going to be in the jungle. You're going to be in wetlands. You're going to be kind of everywhere in terms of scenarios.
Yeah.
Though,
not just one thing for everyone to get bored.
There's no speed check. There's nothing, right? So you can just ride how you want, the fast you want, and no one's going to bother you. So in that regard, it's actually quite nice. Actually, rallying also is a big thing here. We're going to have the World Rally Championship next month here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The dirt roads are pretty sick. Like if you're into motocrossing, I think you'd actually like it.
Nice. And golf? Apparently golf. Is golf big here or not?
Nah, it's not.
No,
There's
okay.
there's a few clubs. I mean, there's the Asunción Golf Club and the Golf and Yacht Club Paraguay that are in Asunción. Then you have a couple in Cordillera, which is close to the lake, so close to San Bernardino, Altos, etc. Those are worth checking out. Pretty good. And then the best one, I think, is the Paraná Country Club, which is on the border with Brazil. Okay. And there's this place close to the second biggest city in Paraguay, which is called Ciudad del Este. And basically there is a huge country club where all the billionaires from Ciudad del Este live, because Ciudad del Este is like some insane amount of retail sales. Because like an iPhone there would cost around $800. If you go and buy that same iPhone in Brazil, it's like $1,500. Yeah. So Brazilians, like once per year, every Brazilian family would just like, rent a pickup truck, go to Ciudad del Este, pack it with stuff, and go back to Brazil for things they need for the year, Christmas gifts, and everything else.
Yeah, wow.
And right there's been quite a few companies that actually made it like really, really big. I know for a fact that the biggest martini and Aperol importer in the whole Americas, North, South, Central, is in Ciudad del Este. It's like literally a guy that's selling the stuff to Brazilians and Argentinians that come there. It's actually quite sick. And these guys live all in the same place, which is this country club that's crossed by this huge, insane golf club. And now in Nueva Asunción, which is across the new bridge, they're going to build a new golf club that is actually very promising. But the thing is, apparently golfing is huge in Korea. Yeah. And if you
a lot of Asian countries,
Yeah, if you go to any big golf club in Asunción, who you're going to meet is like 90% Koreans.
It's the same in some parts of Australia, actually, Same golf, like some golf courses are just very, a lot of Asians, a high percent of Asians.
Makes a lot of sense, actually, now that I think about it. There's a sign that says, like this thing, whatever it is, it's like a little hat with some golf shop. It says, donated by the Women Golfer Association of Koreans in Paraguay.
Oh, wow.
Like, how many people can there be in the Women Korean Golf Association in Paraguay?
Who knows, but they make a big impact. Yeah.
It's like 3,000 people that are in that association. That's insane.
Wow. They just conglomerate in one place. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
By the way, compared to expectations also, other than the city, how was the process for residency and everything all smooth?
Yeah, super smooth. Yeah, extremely smooth. Like too smooth. It was. I thought that this doesn't make sense how smooth it is. So my process was I had a call with you. And then you introduced me to the platform in which I have to upload some documents from Australia, like my birth certificate and stuff. And then I went ahead and did that, that part wasn't so smooth because I have to deal with the Australian government or whatever, but it was relatively smooth, to be honest.
Okay.
And then I uploaded them, flew out here. Everything was in a WhatsApp chat with you or the team. And then flew out here. Then I got picked up at the airport, taken to the hotel. The next day I came here, submit the documents. Then I get picked up at the hotel a couple of days later. We drive around to a couple of places, get some fingerprints and bada bing bada boom. And then done. Now I'm on the YouTube channel.
So
amazing. So yeah, it's been very smooth.
what were your doubts kind of before that? What were your doubts about coming to Paraguay, if you had any?
That's a good question. My doubts about coming to Paraguay were just just like the lack of knowledge. I felt like I had to take a bit of a leap of faith and just be like, it'll figure itself out. Because it's also me as well, just a personality type. Like small details and stuff, sometimes it's a bit like, okay, which bank and which country and where can I live and where can't I live and how long do I have to be here? How long can I not be here? All these little details. It's a little bit hard to wrap your head around, but that was the only doubts. But then I just thought like, come, meet people, figure it out. I had no idea if I was going to stay, if I would have the desire to stay in Paraguay or not. And I'm sort of in the middle still. I'm like, oh, it's really beautiful, but it's good that I don't sort of have to full time, you know.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and still have doubts. I'm only a week in, but just went all in, and we'll figure it out as it happens, you know.
Amazing.
But I'm happy. I'm very happy that it's in the process, which is really cool.
And so you're considering maybe coming back, just visit?
Paraguay?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Just whether to base, you know, like where to live. I've been bopping around country to country for 2 or 3 months at a time for about 2.5 years, and I'm starting to get the feeling of like it would be nice to have my own place for a while and like my own, you know, monitor and my own whatever TV and everything, not just Airbnbs all the time. And so just considering where that could be, and Paraguay's an option for sure.
Yeah, that's actually quite convenient. There's places here, like I think the highest and top of the notch list here is a place where you can, like for $30 a month, you rent a full garage where you can keep all your stuff. And so a lot of people actually do that. Like they would pack everything that is too big to be carried away, put it there, and then when they come back, they just have their full life there. And instead of having to pick everything and deliver everything, etc., if you got a couple guys here to help you out, it's gonna cost you like 100,000 guarani per guy, so it's $25. They're gonna pack everything for you. They're gonna bring it there. They're gonna make sure that they bring it back when you come back, so you don't actually have to spend the whole day doing all this stuff. Like they can figure it out for you.
Yeah.
But it's pretty convenient because, to be fair, I think that a lot of people actually in our clients community are doing just that.
Yeah.
Picking the good months in terms of weather, having also a base, not just for their stuff, but also for their friends. Because like over time, like literally probably in the kind of group that we formed initially with the very few foreigners that were here when I first came, I think like a lot of us then ended up just staying because of the other mates, not because necessarily the place and everything else. Like that is great, absolutely, but you could also leave and come back. But actually, what makes you stay or make you want to come back is the fact that you know
people.
That the boys are there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. So what's your story then? Like, when did you first come here, and who did you come with? And
I came at the end of 2018 and then got residency at the beginning of 2019, and I came alone. Yeah. And the thing is that it was 1 year after university. I really wanted to get rid of the taxation in Italy. That's something that already throughout my university career, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I had already started my freelancing company. I was doing SEO for affiliate marketers in the day trading industry. Yeah. And then, I went literally on Wikipedia, checked all the countries for tax rate. And I was pretty sure I was going to go to Romania because it's pretty close to Italy and it got a 1% tax rate, which is not there anymore, by the way. They removed the tax regime. Now it's pretty high. And the cool thing was that actually, since it's in Europe, like I could just fly there an hour or so and be back and stuff like that. But they had the 183 days, and Romania doesn't have the best climate, definitely. Like, it's very cold and there's nothing so interesting there. So I actually said, I'll go on with the list. Found Paraguay. I didn't even know that foreign income doesn't get taxed. I was like pretty sure that would be like 10%, whatever, because back in the day there was just literally zero information around.
Right.
And then when
And
I
no
found,
ChatGPT to help. Yeah, just figuring
I
it
had
out.
to figure it out all. But then
Yeah.
actually when I did the figuring out, I was like, this is too good, like really, really good. So I didn't start Paraguay Pathways yet, but I went traveling just like the plan was, etc. until COVID hit. When COVID hit, I was back here. The guys that I met in the beginning were here as well, because no one would be in Australia or in Germany or in Italy during COVID. It was just too bad. Here life was pretty okay, pretty free, like no major lockdowns nor anything. And at that point, like we had a year and a half to stick together. At that point, it was just too late to leave them, you know. And so Paraguay Pathway started. Eventually, I dropped my other job after 1 year.
Yeah.
Went full time, and then that's pretty much fast forward that we got here today.
And you started Paraguay Pathways because of the frustration of how hard it was for yourself?
Mate, it was super complicated because the thing is, like, only Paraguayans were in the business. They would know complete nothing about all these LLCs, international taxation, international banking, crypto, all that kind of stuff. Like, it just wasn't there. At the same time, you had to have like a guy for residency, a guy for accounting, a guy for this, a guy for that. And you know the work ethics here, like it's coming. It's coming tomorrow. It's coming in 20 minutes. And then it actually never comes.
Yeah, right.
This map, like I ordered it on a Monday. The lady said by Wednesday I'll deliver it.
Yeah.
Wednesday she texts me. My supplier isn't able to find wood. Like, Paraguay? Bro, like it's just trees in this country. How are you possibly not finding wood? There ain't no way. Like it's the worst excuse I've ever received.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sorry. It takes her a week to find the wood. Anyway, a week to
You
find
should have
the
just
wood.
chopped the tree down and give her the wood. Here you go, start.
Please, I
paid
have a
for
tree
it
in my
already.
garden. Cut it out.
Please.
Insane. Anyway, she takes 1 week to find the wood. Then she starts cutting the wood. She says, as soon as you start cutting the wood, I'll send you a photo. For a week, I didn't receive any photo. After a week, I was like, hey, did you start cutting the wood? She was like, I was just about to start cutting the wood when I received this message.
Wow.
You sure?
Yeah.
And after another week, she eventually delivered the map. So, like, it's very hard because you want things to be done on time. You want things to be done as you want them to be. You expect a certain level of, I don't know, customer service or smoothness throughout the whole thing. And there was actually a lot of friction. So in the beginning, my residency process was different. Back then, you deposited $5,000 in the bank and you got permanent residency immediately, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they changed it in 2021. But the thing is, a lot of people even got scammed on that. Like, their fixer would never actually deposit $5,000 in the bank. They would just grab the $5,000 and run away.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I think there's a person that got sued for like 200, 300 people that had the same problems. And she didn't even bother leaving the country. She's just literally stayed and be like, oh, nothing's gonna happen, right?
Wow. That's dodgy.
So yeah, it was pretty like the wild, wild west. So it was like, it shouldn't be too hard to get into the market and actually bring a bit of clarity, explaining things in English, opening up to the other languages I speak. And then, you know, eventually that is actually how things started. I had a business partner back then he retired because he was an old guy. He was kind of my mentor, the one who taught me about the proper certificates and papers and whatnot. And then we started actually going full startup mentality, hire more people, start up a new office, and so on and so forth. And then we have the other office in the center. We have the office for the accountants. So nowadays it's a bigger operation, but the way we started was like literally, I'll try to help out other people that just like me weren't able to figure out this thing. It's actually like when you start to grow your company, if you do that in Australia, like here when you're at the level where you're making 4K a month, you can already hire 3 people to help you out because that makes perfect sense also with the cost of living. But in Australia, as long as you're making 5K and then you hire a secretary, boom, now you're making 0.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny because I always, in Australia, when I was like starting to get into business, when I was 21, 22, starting to think about it, I was like, how does this maths, like you got to make a lot of, if I have 10 staff and then $40,000 a month and $50,000 a month, and I'm like, so I got to bring in 100,000 just to like break even. And I was like, oh, this is tough.
Imagine having the same office in the same area of the city
and then the office
in Sydney.
Like a lot of money. Like for an office like this, that's crazy. That's true. An office like this in Sydney City, I don't even know. Don't know the commercial market, but shitloads of money.
I reckon
Like
to be
20
right.
grand a month.
20 grand a month is what his firm was paying for their office.
Yeah.
I think it was even a little smaller.
And then you go home, and then rent at home is 4 grand, and
Yeah, that's
and then
thing,
also
eh?
all the little taxes as well. So if you want to get here, you would also have to, you might have to pay strata costs. Do you know strata? It's
No.
like building costs.
Okay.
So, and that's just like a once every year you got to pay 14 grand just for the
Random.
building costs. Like, because they got to clean the windows, they got to clean the,
Okay.
all that stuff, and then they've got like. Yeah, you got strata costs, then you've got the electricity, and then you got this, and you got that, and like everything's expensive.
So, for instance, here the striding cost is actually what we call the condominio. It's like $200 a month for the office, and we got like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
What do you pay for this office? Can I ask?
$2 grand a month.
You. Sorry. Pause. What the fuck? For all this $2 grand
Yeah,
plus $200 a month
yeah.
to
That's
clean
it.
the windows.
That's it. They wanted like a little bit more, but when we negotiated, it's $2 grand, and that's it.
In this building as well. This is like the World Trade Center.
Yeah, it's literally the same World Trade Center. It's like the same brand of the,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. I was a bit scared coming in. I was just waiting. I was like looking if there's any planes. And, We're not recording, right?
There's a lot
Wow,
of
that's
people
crazy. So
here
you could
that-
rent a place, like an office space like this for $2 grand.
Yeah.
Deck it out and put whatever, 20 employees or something
Yeah.
for $2 grand a month. Plus
Well, you'd be surprised. We have another one that's this big, but it's in the centro because you
yeah,
remember
I went past it the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is like $300 a month.
Bullshit.
Nah, it's true. Like the fact is that there's such a huge difference between the two areas of the city.
And are there many people that speak English? Can you find English employees? English-speaking employees.
If it's employees, then you actively screen through the curriculums and everything. Yeah, 100%. If you just randomly go on a night out and you expect to speak English with the girls you meet at the bar, no, 100% no. But if you go like and be, okay, I want an English-speaking employee. So generally what we do is we would get in touch with the relevant school or university or anything. And for instance, this is how we found Lucas. So we got in touch with this audiovisual production school in Paraguay, the one that was best rated and everything else. Called the lady, she was super lovely, and she said they didn't want even money nor anything. They would just randomly throw an email to everyone that he had in the email list. Would post the listing on all their WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
And they would post like flyers in the school itself.
Yeah.
We received like, I don't know, 80 curriculums or things like that. Then Brian did the interviews and stuff, and in a week or so we're running. Also because you hire an employee, it's like just literally a super simple thing you have to do online.
Yeah.
And boom, they're on board. So everything is actually super easy.
I might look to bring my company here.
I should start a business headquarters here.
I should. One of my dreams is to walk into an office and have employees, because all of our employees are, we don't actually have employees, we have just contractors.
Yeah.
The company has 75 people or something in total, and everyone is contractors or equity owners.
Okay.
Basically, you have the 4 equity owners, 3 in a bit, and then you have 75 contractors in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, etc. But I would love to walk in to a place and I've got like this department here, you've got your sign. Like, what do you got basically? Maybe more people running around, but
well, I can
it
tell
would be
you
cool.
that, like,
And if you can do that here, that would be insane.
we have the accounting team that mainly works remote because they work from home. They come to the office once per week.
Yeah.
But that is like really a very standalone thing. But my philosophy is always like, if you can work 100% remotely, you can be very easily be substituted. Like I can find no role in the company that's like a super essential role where if you don't show up to the office, you'll achieve the same things. Of course, we're in different industries, but it's like, first, if we work side by side, like the level at which we interchange communications is so much faster. And we can actually just randomly have a chat while we have a coffee and have a great idea.
Yeah, that's so true. 100%. Yeah, the best ideas is when you're actually not working. It's when like you go for lunch and you're just talking and come up with ideas. That's where you build rapport, so you want to work harder for the people that you like.
Yeah, you wouldn't imagine. I was in the elevator the other day, an Argentinian guy pops up and he's like all, behaving like he is the owner of the world, but it's a funny
Like all Argentinians.
Yeah. Anyway, he gets into the elevator and goes like, hey people, how's it going? No one pops in the elevator like that, like just no one does.
Yeah.
And he goes in like, well, what are you guys doing? What do you guys do? And the guy goes, I'm the CFO of a multinational company. We're based at floor 10. And I was like, we own a residency company for foreigners in Paraguay that's based at floor 15. I was like, no, I can't believe it. Please give me your number. I got so many people I got to bring here because of our company. We have to bring all the Argentinians here. No one here is getting me the documents fast. How fast are you guys? Like 60 days. Amazing. Yeah. Let's have chat more. I think it creates, like, first, a lot of connections. Just like if you're in a
100%.
nice office building, you get to know a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, like, how many companies here would need a marketing agency, especially run by foreigners? Everyone. Everyone like would be like, yes, please.
Really, yeah.
Second, it helps create that kind of family vibe that, you know, Italian companies have that thing that everyone is part of the family, and Paraguayans have that too.
Right.
So one thing I can tell you about Paraguayans is that it may be hard to find exactly the type of person you're looking for.
When you do, it's like, they're on.
They won't ever leave the company.
Wow. That's cool.
There's no job hopping or nothing like that.
Yeah.
On that note, on the contrary, do you think Australia is a good place to start a business nowadays?
No.
Tell me more.
Are we recording? I didn't know we were recording. Well, I don't know. It depends. I mean, Australia is a legit place to, like, everything is fully legit. Like, everything is by the books. And so, I mean, it depends what industry you're in, right? And so if you're fully committed to Australia, you live there, you want to start a business there, and you go by the books and everything, then yeah. I know a lot of wealthy people who make businesses in Australia and they do exceptionally well. And the economy is obviously really strong. There's a lot of ways to make a lot of money. But it depends. I answered no because personally, no. Like, I wouldn't want to. The tax is so high. There's all the red tape that you've got to go through all these different hoops, and employees just cost a ton of money. Then if you want to rent an office space, it costs a ton of money. It's just like, and as well, I've always, for a long time, I've had this idea of wanting to travel and be outside.
Sure.
And then for me, just personally, to stay in Australia and start a business and everything, it's like, it doesn't make me excited.
I can imagine.
Yeah, the idea of just my story of just being like, yeah, I have this office in Paraguay with 50 employees and like it's just, and no tax, is like, that's boss. Like, it just feels boss, right? Rather than like, yeah, I'm in Sydney and I pay $40,000 a month for insurance for my window. It's like, no good, you know? But, yeah.
What is your take on that, by the way, the government and tax policy that Australia is applying? You think are going the right direction, or?
It's interesting. When it comes to politics and tax and stuff in Australia, I'm not the most educated guy, but it doesn't feel like it's going in the right direction. It feels like, you were saying just 10 minutes ago that, like, your friend from Italy went there with the dream of Australia is this very relaxed place and everyone's chill and everyone's cool and, you know, work hard but also play hard and stuff. I think Australia was like that in the 90s and 80s. Obviously, I wasn't born until 96. But my dad, for example, told me, like, in the 80s, Australia was amazing. Like, very, like, everyone was proud to be Australian and fun, and it was like party, like a lot of good parties, and also business, and also the economy was good. There's a lot of pride in it, etc. But then over the last 10 years or so, it just feels like so many rules, so many regulations, so much red tape and stuff like that. So, and just personally, I'm the type of person, I don't like too much authority over me. You know, like at school, I don't mind rules. Rules are cool. I actually like rules. I like when there's, you know, it's clear what you can and can't do, but I don't like unnecessary rules or rules that just don't feel like they make sense.
Or they contradict each other, but then you still have to respect both, even though
you're like, huh?
they're conflicting. But
yeah, at school, they used to say to me, like, you can wear shoes, but they have, well, of course you have to wear shoes, but like, you have to wear black leather shoes. I'm like, why? Why? Like, I don't want to wear the black shoes. Why can't I wear white shoes? So I would just wear white shoes.
So freedom
Screw
is important.
You. And that was just my thing. Yeah, exactly. It's shoes. Who cares if they're black, like, or white? What the hell is the difference? So it's just a small example, but it kept going in my life.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense. Here's actually one of the things I value the most about Paraguay is exactly that. Like, the boundaries are few clear, and they are like, avoid extreme. Like, don't kill people, don't steal, things that are pretty basic. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
But then there's no, like, little nuances that you have to be aware of about every single little thing, you know?
I'll give you an example. I was in Argentina a year or so ago, and I was sitting in Cordoba, capital, and I was just sitting with a local person, and we're talking about exactly this. And they said, "What do you like? Can you give me an example?" And I just looked around. Let's look around. And then I was like, "There's 3 things right now that are happening right now that are illegal in Australia." And she was like, "What?" And I said, "You see the guy over there? He's on the corner, put his hat down, and he just starts playing guitar." Right? I was like, you need a license to do that.
Okay.
Right? In Australia, you need a busking license. I think it's cheap, like $30 a year or $50 a year. But if you don't have it, then the police can come, say, where's your license for busking? And then if
fine
you
is
don't have
zero.
it, they just, I don't know, you got to leave. Like, you're not going to go to jail, but like, it's
fine is
not
gonna-
legal to
Sure, you'll have to pay something. for
yeah,
that,
exactly. And you're probably supposed to declare the money in tax and all this. This dude just picked up a guitar and is playing. And then there was a guy smoking a cigarette, and he was outside of the cafe and sitting, smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee. I was like, that's impossible, because in Australia you have to be 5 meters away from anywhere where somebody could be eating, right? Even if it's outside, even if there's no one sitting, right?
Okay.
This is the type of thing that gets me. I don't smoke, but I'm outside, no one's here. The smoke is going straight up, but because somebody could potentially be sitting here, can't do it. It's like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. No one is here though, you know, that type of stuff. And then there's another, and then in Cordoba they have this tradition, when you finish college, they put you in the back of the trunk or the boot of the car, they spray you in paint, and then they drive around honking the horn, and you sit in the back of the car and everyone's celebrating.
100%.
Right? Have you seen that?
You can't do that in anywhere in the West.
Like, in Australia, within 3 seconds, they're done. Like every apartment building would be calling the police saying, what the fuck? And so, and I said to her, I was like, the types of rules and regulations I like, that suits what the type of place I want to be, is the guy playing guitar on the street. The people decide. If he's no good and he's interrupting everyone, the people will say, man, go home, you suck. Like, go practice and come back, right? Or if the guy's smoking cigarettes and there's a baby there, somebody might say, hey, don't smoke, there's a baby here, can you just go over there? Of
course.
Right? But but if there's no baby, smoke. If you're good at guitar, play guitar, you know?
Yeah, I think there's places that leave it to the common sense of people.
That's right,
And it's like, no one would actually lit up a cigarette with a baby right beside.
That's
like,
right.
People wouldn't.
And if they do, people will come and say, man, that's not right.
100%. Everyone else other than that guy would be like, no, you can't do that, right?
That's right.
Everybody would do that. But if you leave it to the common sense of people, they're not beasts. Like, everyone has kind of a sense for what you can and can't do.
Yeah. And
other places would just write the rules about everything so that you don't have to think with your head, you just have to follow the rules.
I made up a theory. Do you want to hear my theory?
Yeah, absolutely.
My theory is, it's like a 3-pillar thing. The more rules there are in a country, the safer the country, but the less fun it is. And when you pull one lever, the other one goes up and the other one goes down and stuff like that. So if you have no rules, it's really not safe, but it's really fun. Right? And the idea is to find the country that has the right balance for you. So some people love Australia. They love the rules. They love the regulations. They love the rules. They love the regulations. They love that everything is controlled and there's cameras everywhere and the police are going to make sure that you don't do anything wrong. But I don't love that, right?
Yeah.
And then there's other places, like if you go to, I don't know, Vietnam or Bali, at times it feels like there's no rules. Or Brazil, for example, like, actually, no, Brazil's, no. Certain places there's no rules, but it's like super unsafe.
Yeah.
But you can have the best time ever, but you may die. You know? And so it's just this balance of where's your place. For me, I really like Argentina, Colombia. It seems like Paraguay, where it's kind of like there's rules, there's police and rules, and everything is good and stuff, and it's fun and it's really fun. You can't just do anything you want, but it's really fun. But it's just that right balance for me, and I think it's about finding.
Did you have any safety concerns before coming?
I had no idea what to expect, and honestly, it feels way safer than I thought. So yeah, I had no idea what to. Obviously, with Central and South America, some countries it's super dangerous. Some countries, it depends where you are in the country, it feels very safe. And so when I first got here, I was just testing it out, and because of jet lag, when I first got here, I woke up. I went to sleep at like 6 p.m. and woke up at 3 a.m, completely awake, and I was like, am I going to go for a walk? I have no idea if I'm going to get robbed. I have no idea. So I just went for a walk, and it was totally fine. It was all good. There was police and security guards everywhere, and so at least this part of Asunción feels super safe.
Yeah, have you been around or just in this part?
Just this part, to be honest, yeah.
And you feel safe here?
Super safe, yeah.
Amazing.
There's certain sections, the other day when I got driven to certain places to do the visa stuff, Elias said that certain places don't go at night. Like, and he was just like, during the day it's pretty cool, but just at night, this is not the right place. Otherwise, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, amazing. Did you tell your family you're in Paraguay?
Yeah, of course.
What did they say?
I couldn't stop telling them. Every day I'm like, 2 weeks left, 1 week left. You know? Yeah, they're cool. They're used to it. I've been traveling for a long time and to South America a lot as well.
Did they know? Like you said Paraguay and they were like, yeah, Paraguay.
Most people, when I say Paraguay, they say, where's that? Like, I've heard of that. It's like near Brazil and Argentina. And they go, oh, yeah, okay. Why? It's always the same conversation. And then I say, oh, it's like there's a tax thing. Like, you don't pay tax if you set up as a tax resident. And they say, you're going to leave Australia as a citizen? I said, no. I have to do a little spiel, even though I don't know what I'm talking about. But.
Yeah, no. It's 100% that way. But like, oh, so you renounce your passport? And like, it doesn't work
not
like
quite,
that.
Not quite.
It's not the same thing, right?
Yeah. Even people have explained it to 3 or 4 times. They're still like, but you're going to stay Australian? And it's like, yeah, I'm going to stay Australian. Don't stress. So.
Does it feel good to have your Paraguay residency?
Yeah, well, right now I've got the the pre-temporary.
Precaria.
That's one. And so, but yeah, apparently it's done for now. That's it. So
the rest is just waiting, literally.
Next thing is I wait for the card to arrive and then get some bank accounts set up and then good to go. And learning about things like that I can set up a business here and stuff is really exciting.
Yeah, actually they're building a free trade zone for tech companies.
Yeah.
And all digital marketing and everything that is remote.
Free, what do you mean free tech?
Free trade zone. So if you will install your company there, the company is going to be tax-free. So that's going to be like an alternative to have a US LLC. You can actually have the company in Paraguay, be in that sector and no pay taxes.
And that sector is a physical location sector?
Yeah,
and it's in Asunción?
Yeah, it's getting built in Nueva Asunción, but I discussed it already a few times with the Vice Minister of Industry and Commerce. The guy is like absolutely a great guy. Marco Riquelme, he studied at Stanford. It's literally amazing. And and they're getting it done.
And when will that be?
I think 6 months from now. Should be completed. On that note, since 6 months from now you're going to be a tax-free person, what did it change in your plans, in your economics? Did you decide what you're going to spend your tax money on? Did residence in Paraguay change kind of your lifestyle or your perception of what's your plan are for the future?
Not yet, to be honest. Not yet, because just trying to take it step by step. The first thing is I don't want to pay 40% of every dollar to Australia.
Yeah.
First thing is get that sorted, because that's a lot of money. And then the next thing is, for me personally, it will be just about saving up until I have a certain amount, and then definitely looking to reinvest. And just the ease of no tax is going to be amazing, or like less, because obviously you're still paying some sort of tax if you set it up in a way in Paraguay. But like the ease of not having to, every time that 10 grand comes in, I have to put 3 grand here and then declare this and pay that and the ease of not having to do that is going to be amazing. So it's going to
be more on the saving side.
Saving for sure in the beginning, and then start to reinvest.
Amazing,
for sure.
Amazing. So what would you tell to someone who's hesitating about getting their tax residency in Paraguay and maybe they have to make up their mind?
First thing I would say is to get on a call with somebody here at Paraguay Pathways, Alessandro or whoever else. Ask a bunch of questions. Obviously, you've got to make sure that it's right for you. And then if you do decide that it's right for you, go with Paraguay Pathways. I have some friends that have tried to do it themselves and they regretted it like crazy. And then they actually met Alessandro and they said like, I regret not going with him. And so definitely go with Alessandro. And it's been really flawless for me. So I would recommend to make sure it's right for you and then go with Paraguay Pathways.
Cheers. Thanks. That's way more than I expected when I asked the question.
That's the truth. You, mate. It's definitely the truth. Like, seriously, it's the truth.
Well, Conrad, it was literally amazing to have this chat. Super thank you. Like, always Aussies make me laugh too much. So it's actually been absolutely great to have this conversation. Yeah. And I would say, you're up for a coffee?
Definitely. Let's
go.
Thank you, Alessandro.
Cheers,
really
mate.
Nice.
Let's go.